The morning the world felt soft and golden. On a quiet December morning in 1976, before even the earliest birds dared to sing, an old American house stood still in the cold, waiting. Frost clung to the windows, tracing delicate white patterns that looked almost hand-drawn, like winter itself wanted to decorate the morning. Inside, the world was different, warmer, softer, touched by a kind of magic that only existed in homes of that era. The living room, lit gently by the Christmas tree that had been left glowing overnight, felt like a place suspended between dreaming and waking. The colored bulbs flickered, just enough to cast moving shadows on the wood-paneled walls, the same walls so many American families remembered from their childhood homes. The air carried a perfect mix of memories, the deep smell of fresh pine from the tree, the lingering sweetness of cinnamon and nutmeg from last night's baking, and the faintest hint of cold winter air sneaking in through the old window frames. Even the carpet held a familiar, comforting scent, worn but loved. And upstairs, a big family slept soundly. 3 generations under one roof, parents exhausted from late-night wrapping, grandparents dreaming of the days when their own children were small, and kids wrapped in blankets, holding on to the last moments of sleep before excitement took over. The house whispered with tiny familiar sounds, the refrigerator clicking on, the soft creak of settling wood, and the gentle hum of the furnace struggling against the winter cold. It was a kind of silence that wasn't empty. It was full of anticipation, full of warmth, full of a very specific kind of peace that only existed before the 1970s. Christmas morning truly began. In the hallway, a few stray tinsel strands glimmered under the faint tree light, carried from the night before when the kids had begged to decorate. Just one more thing. Downstairs, a plate of cookies, half eaten, rested beside a glass with just a sip of milk left. Someone had placed the cookie plate back crooked, as if Santa had been in a hurry. Everything felt exactly as it should, exactly as so many people remember it, because in just a few minutes, the stillness would break. Tiny footsteps would land on the hallway carpet. Whispers would turn into giggles, and the house, this warm, breathing, glowing house, would come alive with the unforgettable sounds and scents of a 1976 Christmas morning. This is the moment we are stepping into. Not just a memory, but a feeling. The feeling of a world that was softer, slower, kinder, and beautifully familiar. Before a single gift is touched, before the first whisper of excitement breaks the morning stillness, the house is already alive with its own quiet magic. It is early, so early that the world outside is still wrapped in blue-gray dawn. December 25th, 1976. A morning frozen not by cold alone, but by the weight of memories waiting to be awakened. A faint glow presses through the thin curtains. Not quite sunlight yet, more like a gentle promise that the day everyone waited for all year long has finally arrived. Outside, snow sits softly on the ground, piled on mailboxes, car hoods, and the tops of evergreen shrubs. The street is silent, as though the entire neighborhood is holding its breath, knowing that in every home, right at this very moment, a similar kind of magic is quietly unfolding. Inside, the house feels warmer than it should, not just from the old furnace rattling in the basement, but from something else, something older, deeper. The living room is still dim, lit only by the Christmas tree, a real pine, the kind that leaves tiny needles on the floor and fills the house with a smell no artificial tree has ever matched. The branches sag slightly under the weight of the ornaments, those thick, glass ones that could shatter with a single drop, yet somehow manage to survive decades. The lights blink patiently. Red, green, amber, blue. Each color washes over the room in a soft waves, touching the walls, the ceiling, the gifts, the stockings, and finally settling on the carpet like memories drifting gently back into place. There's the faint scent of cinnamon lingering from the cookies baked the night before. A forgotten cup of cocoa sits on the coffee table, the marshmallows now melted into a soft layer on top. On the mantel, 4 stockings hang slightly crooked. Someone always bumped into one the night before, laughing, insisting it looked better this way. The old rug underfoot feels especially warm, worn smooth by years of running children. Restless pets and winter mornings like this. Even the creaks of the house feel familiar, like an old friend. stretching gently after a long night's sleep. A soft thump upstairs, someone rolling over, the slow sigh of the heating vents waking up. The silence is not empty, it's full of all the mornings that came before this one. Full of anticipation so thick you could almost touch it. In the kitchen, a faint ticking from the wall clock keeps time with the blinking lights. A pot left to soak overnight gives off the faint smell of dish soap. The fridge hums steady and low, a background melody everyone in the family somehow knows by heart. There's a warmth in the air that cannot be explained scientifically. It's not temperature, it's memory. It's the kind of warmth that comes from a home that has held generations of whispered goodnights, childhood secrets, and holiday traditions repeated until they became sacred. The living room window fogs slightly from the heater. The tinsel on the tree shifts with the faintest currents of warm air, creating tiny, delicate crackling sounds. Sounds that only exist in homes still lit by old style. Christmas lights, if you look closely, you can almost see the past layered gently over the present. A faint echo of a previous Christmas morning, a laugh from 1972, the rustle of wrapping paper from 1969, a dance of lights reflected in a pair of eyes from long ago. Before the first child races down the staircase, before a parent rubs their eyes, smiles and whispers, "It's Christmas," before the room fills with the music of tearing paper and joyful chaos, the house itself is already celebrating, breathing, remembering, waiting. Slowly the house comes to life. Upstairs, a blanket rustles. A small foot nudges the edge of a bed. A child murmurs, half asleep, "Is it morning yet?" The sibling stirs beside them, curling and uncurling, whispering a soft laugh that carries down the empty hallway. The parents shift in their bed. The mother stretches. The father yawns quietly, both exchanging a knowing glance that says, "Today is special." Their smiles are soft, intimate, tender reminders of decades of Christmas mornings past. Every detail of the room, the warm glow of the lamp, the faint reflection of colored lights from the tree, tells them the day they've anticipated all year has arrived. Downstairs, the grandparents peek through the doorway. Their eyes, sparkling behind glasses, are mirrors of the past. They've lived this morning countless times in memory, and seeing their grandchildren now brings all of it alive. Decades, collapsing into a single golden moment. Footsteps begin to echo on the stairs, tentative at first, then gaining confidence. A giggle escapes from the older child, quickly muffled with a pillow. The younger child whispers an impatient question. "Can we go now?" Every tiny sound, every sigh, every shift of weight is magnified in the quiet house, as if the walls themselves are listening and smiling. The living room is a universe of anticipation. The tree glows, casting soft shadows that stretch across the walls, carpeting them in flickering patterns. Stockings hang slightly askew, each one containing the memories of years. Tiny toys, sweets, trinkets, all carefully placed by loving hands. The scent of pine mixes, with the faint remnants of cinnamon, and nutmeg from cookies baked the night before. A lingering perfume that seems to make the house itself smile. A small foot hits the bottom stair, then another, and suddenly the sound multiplies, tiny, hurried, full of excitement. The children run, voices barely contained, gasping and squealing with anticipation. The parents follow more slowly, savoring the moment, the warmth, the joy that radiates from every corner. Grandparents shuffle after them, walking slowly to let the children lead, remembering the same mornings with their own children. The same glittering lights, the same smells, the same pure, uncontainable happiness. Paper rustles as fingers reach for gifts. Ribbons squeak, bows are undone, and laughter spills over like the warmest of rivers. Each crinkle of paper, each squeak of ribbon, carries decades of tradition, echoes of Christmases past, and the unmistakable feeling of a 1970s American home at its most alive. Everywhere, there is motion, color, scent, and sound. Every corner of the room participates. Even the cat, normally sleeping at the fireplace, stretches and yawns, as if aware that something magical is happening. The refrigerator hums, the clock ticks, the old heater pops softly, all contributing to the symphony of the morning. This is more than a Christmas morning. It is a tapestry of memories, stitched together by love, light, and sound. A single morning that feels endless, timeless and perfect. It is a moment the family, and perhaps anyone who remembers these mornings, will carry in their hearts forever. The moment has come. Hands reach for the first gift. The crinkle of wrapping, paper slicing through the gentle morning quiet like a burst of happiness. A small box carefully wrapped in shiny red paper is lifted. Inside, a set of wooden blocks, painted bright primary colors. The older child remembers a similar set they had once, decades ago. Fingers trace the smooth edges, stacking and knocking them down with a soft giggle. Every bump, every tumble is a tiny echo of the Christmas mornings of 1972, 1973. A line of memories stretching back into childhood itself. Next, a small, tightly wrapped package with green paper and a thin silver ribbon. Inside, a classic model car, metal, cool to the touch, with little rubber tires. The child holds it carefully, imagining the streets of a miniature 1970s town, recreating adventures they've only dreamed of. The car rolls across the floor, tapping lightly against the old rug, leaving behind invisible tracks of excitement. On the other side of the room, the younger sibling discovers a small stuffed bear, worn just slightly at the ears, stitched lovingly by a grandmother's hands. The scent of lavender from the fabric travels into the air as the child hugs it. Eyes wide, the bear is more than a toy. It is a memory in itself, a connection to a hand that folded wrapping paper with care, a touch from the past that reaches across generations. A slightly larger box reveals a set of storybooks, each spine colorful and bold, titles whispering of adventures, magic and faraway places. A parent picks up a book and begins to read aloud, their voice soft and melodic, echoing against the walls. Each word conjures the flicker of the tree lights, the warm smell of cookies, the shiver of winter air outside, and the unmistakable feeling that the world is a little softer right here, in this living room. On this morning, there is a small musical box too tucked beneath the tree. The winding key turns, and a gentle melody flows into the room, curling around the laughter, the whispers, the tiny footsteps. Even the cat pauses for a moment, tilting its head at the familiar tune, as if it too remembers past Christmases when this same melody played. Every gift is a story, every ribbon, every paper tear, a page in the family's living memory. A little set of crayons sparks imagination. A model train quietly waits to circle the tracks around the tree, and a carefully wrapped scarf holds warmth before it even touches a neck. By the time the morning light has fully stretched across the room, the gifts are more than objects. They are conduits of joy, love, and memory. They are reminders of the way our 1970s Christmas morning could feel: magical, messy, chaotic, and perfectly beautiful. The house itself seems to lean in, listening to the rustle of paper, the squeak of ribbons, the laughter that swells and falls in waves. Every corner participates, every shadow on the wall seems to dance. The very air feels layered with decades of past Christmases, and yet entirely present, breathing with the family as they unwrap one gift after another. The gifts have been unwrapped. Paper lies scattered like snow across the carpet. Ribbons curl in playful chaos, and laughter still rings in the air. But now the focus shifts, from the excitement of discovery to the quiet, profound magic of simply being together. The older child leans against the father's side, pointing at a model car as the father pretends to drive it across the floor. The younger child climbs into the grandmother's lap, gripping the stuffed bear tight, eyes wide with a mixture of awe and comfort. The grandmother hums softly, a tune remembered from her own childhood Christmases. The parents exchange glances, soft smiles that speak volumes. They watch as decades collapse into a single moment. The joy of their children, the warmth of family, the innocence and wonder that only a holiday morning can summon. The father leans over to whisper a memory from his own childhood, a story of snow so deep it covered the mailbox, of toys long gone, and of a kitchen filled with the scent of cinnamon and gingerbread. The children listen, eyes wide, laughter bubbling as they imagine the old tales. The grandparents reach for their own keepsakes, a small ornament, an old photograph tucked into a frame, and share stories of past Christmases. One story leads to another, and soon the room is layered with decades of memory. Each story each smile, each soft chuckle contributes to the invisible threads that tie this morning to every past Christmas the family has ever known. Outside, sunlight begins to filter through the frost-lined windows, painting the room in pale gold. Inside, the living room is alive in a different way now. Less chaotic, more intimate. Hands brush against each other. Children's laughter softens into murmurs, and the simple act of sharing a meal, a story, a glance becomes the centerpiece of the morning. Even the smallest moments matter. A spilled cup of cocoa brings a shared giggle. A child's tiny hand holding a parent's larger one conveys trust, love, and the safety of home. The cat, now comfortably perched on the sofa, stretches languidly, as if acknowledging the gentle rhythm of a family perfectly in sync. Everywhere, there is love, history, and a feeling of timelessness. The room glows not just with lights, but with memories, joy, and the knowledge that these moments will live in the heart forever. This is what a 1970s Christmas morning truly feels like. Magical, full, tender, chaotic, perfect, and entirely unforgettable. The family pauses for a moment, just to breathe it all in. The sounds, the warmth, the laughter, the past colliding with the present. And in that pause, in that shared heartbeat, there is an understanding. These mornings, these fleeting hours, are the ones we carry with us forever. The morning has slowed. The tree still glows, but its lights are softer now. Like a gentle heartbeat in the room, paper and ribbons lie scattered, a kaleidoscope of color across the living room floor. Toys rest in small clusters, evidence of adventures that have already begun, even before breakfast has been served. The children are tired now, but their eyes still sparkle, reflecting the soft glow of the tree. The older child rests their head on the mother's lap, holding a block in their hand as if it were the most precious treasure in the world. The younger clings to the stuffed bear, its lavender scent lingering in the air, a soft, invisible thread tying the past to the present. The parents sit side by side, a cup of cocoa in each hand, watching quietly. Every smile, every sigh, every soft laugh they hear is a reminder of why these mornings matter. They whisper to each other, sharing memories of their own childhoods, recalling the simple joys of 1970s. Christmas mornings, the smell of the tree, the warmth of the kitchen, the excitement of waiting for a snowstorm that never quite seemed to arrive on time. Grandparents shuffled to the window, peering out at the pale winter sunlight, reflecting off rooftops and tree branches. They remember sledding on snow-covered hills, hot cocoa warming frozen fingers, and carols sung off-key but full of heart. They remember children in old-fashioned pajamas, hugging gifts tightly, and parents smiling behind them. Those memories now mingle with the present, layering decades of love and nostalgia over a single room, a single morning. Outside, the world is quiet, the winter light softening everything. Inside, the family sits together, the chaos of opening gifts replaced by gentle conversation, storytelling, and shared laughter. One child points to a train set, asking the father to show it in action again. Another child asks for a story to be read, eyes still wide, imagination running wild with thoughts of distant lands, magical creatures, and daring adventures. Even the small moments hold weight. The soft pat of a cat's paw on the carpet, the clink of a spoon stirring cocoa, the rustle of wrapping paper being carefully folded and set aside. The parents exchange glances again, eyes wet with nostalgia, hearts full. They are watching time fold in on itself, the past and present coexisting in the simplest of joys, family love and memory. The morning stretches slowly, intentionally. There is no rush. Each sip of cocoa, each giggle, each whispered story carries the family further into the magic of the day. Every scent, the pine of the tree, the spices from cookies, the soft scent of a child's hair combines into a sensory memory that will last decades. Every light flicker, every shadow cast, every tiny detail will be remembered as though time itself has slowed to preserve it. Parents and grandparents join hands with the children. The circle is imperfect but complete. They breathe together, laugh together, and in those moments, the room becomes more than a house. It is a vessel of memory, love, and continuity. They are not just unwrapping gifts. They are unwrapping years of tradition, threads of stories, and moments of warmth that will ripple through their lives forever. As the day moves toward noon, the family begins to prepare a simple meal, humming softly, occasionally glancing at the tree or exchanging a gentle laugh. They pause to photograph small moments, not for strangers or social media, but to preserve in their own hearts. Each click of the camera is an attempt to capture the intangibility of love, the weightless feeling of nostalgia that fills the room. And then the quiet reflection comes, the acknowledgement that these mornings are fleeting, yet eternal in memory. The parents, grandparents, and children all understand. Christmas is not about gifts alone, but about the stories that are shared, the warmth that is felt, the togetherness that binds generations. The past is alive here, the present is rich with it, the future carries its echoes. In the fading glow of the afternoon, they gather once more by the tree. The children's heads rest against their parents, grandparents smiling softly, the room filled with a contented hum. There is laughter, there is silence, and in between, there is everything that makes a 1970s American Christmas morning unforgettable. Tradition, chaos, love, warmth, and the magical, tender heartbeat of family. Finally, a soft voice, a parent, a grandparent, perhaps both, speaks. Remember this always. These moments, these mornings, they are ours, and they will stay with us forever. And in that shared understanding, the house breathes with life, memory, and love. The Christmas lights flicker once, twice like a wink from the past, and the family leans into each other, wrapped in a warmth that no snow, no cold, and no time can ever take away. This is more than a morning. It is more than a Christmas. It is life, memory, and love intertwined, a perfect, timeless mosaic of family, nostalgia, and heart.